7 Japanese Zero circle above, like sharks scenting blood. A lone American Wildcat limps through the sky at 8,000 feet, trailing a thin mist of aviation fuel that catches the morning sun like a silver ribbon. The pilot knows what everyone else knows. A leaking fuel tank is a death sentence. It leaves a trail the enemy can follow from 10 miles away. It turns your aircraft into a flying bomb. One tracer round in the right place and you become a fireball before you can scream. But Lieutenant Marcus Trent does not turn back. He does not radio for help. He does not panic. Instead, he does something that will get him court-martialed or decorated, possibly both. He throttles forward, banks hard left, and flies directly toward the enemy formation. The fuel trail follows him like a comet's tail, a perfect advertisement of his position, his heading, his vulnerability. The Zeros see it. They peel off in pairs, eager and confident. This will be easy. This will be quick. The date is August 14th, 1943. The location is a stretch of empty Pacific sky 60 miles north of Guadalcanal. The air here tastes of salt and heat. Inside the cockpit, the temperature climbs past 110 degrees. Sweat stings Trent's eyes. The smell of leaking fuel fills the cramped space, sharp and chemical. His hands are steady on the stick. His breathing is controlled. He has done the math. He knows what comes next. Below, the ocean spreads flat and endless, reflecting the sky like hammered steel. There is nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. If he goes down here, no one will find him. The current will carry his body west toward islands still held by the Japanese. He will disappear. His family will receive a telegram, missing in action, presumed dead. That is how most stories end out here. But Trent is not most pilots. He is 26 years old, tall and thin with wire-rimmed glasses that fog in the humidity. He grew up on a farm in rural Iowa, fixing machinery with his father. Tractors, threshers, irrigation pumps. Equipment that broke constantly and had to be repaired with whatever was available. You learned to improvise. You learned to see problems as opportunities. Before the war, Trent studied mechanical engineering at Iowa State. He did not finish. Pearl Harbor happened. He enlisted the next day. Flight training came easy. The technical side, the physics, the systems. He understood machines. He understood how things moved through air, how forces balanced, how failures cascaded. What he did not understand was why so many pilots died following doctrine that made no sense. The fuel leak started 20 minutes ago. A Zero got on his tail during a patrol sweep. Trent broke hard, too hard. Something in the fuselage cracked. Now, 100-octane aviation gasoline streams from a fracture near the port wing root. He is losing 2 gallons per minute. He has maybe 30 minutes of flight time remaining. The smart move is to head back to base. Abort the mission. Live to fight another day. Trent has no intention beyond of doing the smart thing. The tactical situation is not complicated. It is simply unsolvable. By August 1943, the United States Navy and Marine Corps have been fighting in the Pacific for 20 months. They have learned hard lessons. They have rewritten doctrine in blood. The F-4F Wildcat is a tough aircraft, reliable and rugged, but it is outmatched by the Mitsubishi A6M Zero in almost every category. The Zero climbs faster, it turns tighter, it has a longer range. Japanese pilots exploit these advantages with ruthless efficiency. They bait American fighters into turning engagements where the Wildcat bleeds energy and dies. They use superior climb rate to gain altitude advantage. They dictate when to fight and when to disengage. American doctrine compensates through teamwork. Fly in pairs. Never engage alone. Use hit-and-run tactics. Dive, shoot, extend. Never turn with a Zero. Never dogfight. The math is brutal but clear. In a one-on-one engagement where the Zero chooses the terms, the Wildcat loses 70% of the time. The numbers come from after-action reports compiled by intelligence officers who tally kills and losses with cold precision. They plot trends. They calculate attrition rates. They predict how long squadrons will last at current loss ratios. The predictions are grim. Pilots know the statistics. They brief them before every mission. Stay in pairs. Maintain altitude. Do not chase. Do not deviate. The rules exist because they work. When pilots follow them, survival rates improve. When they break them, they die. It is that simple. Except it is not simple when you are alone at 8,000 feet with a fuel leak and 7 zeros converging on your position. Doctrine says abort. Doctrine says run. Doctrine assumes you have the fuel to make it home. Trent does not have the fuel. He has done the math. At current consumption rate plus the leak, he has 28 minutes of engine time remaining. Base is 40 minutes away. The numbers do not work. Even if he turns back now, even if the zeros let him go, he will flame out over open water 12 minutes short of the runway. He will ditch. The Wildcat is not designed for water landings. The engine is heavy. The nose goes down first. You have maybe 30 seconds to get out before it sinks. Maybe. That assumes you survive the impact. That assumes you are conscious. That assumes the canopy does not jam. Trent has seen ditching reports. He has read the survival statistics. They are worse than the combat statistics, so he makes a different calculation. If he is going to die today, he will die doing something useful. The fuel leak that everyone sees as a fatal flaw, he sees as a tool. The trail that marks him as prey, he sees as bait. The zeros are already committed. They see a wounded aircraft. They see an easy kill. They are wrong. What they see is exactly what Trent wants them to see. He is not running, he is setting a trap. Marcus Trent was born in 1917 in a town called Winterset, population 3D400, located in the flat, agricultural heartland of Iowa. His father owned 240 acres of corn and soybean fields. His mother taught elementary school. The house was white clapboard with a screened porch and a pump well in the yard. Trent learned to read before kindergarten. He learned to drive a tractor at age 9. By 12, he could strip and rebuild a carburetor blindfolded. The farm required constant maintenance. Equipment failed in predictable patterns. Belts wore out. Bearings seized. Fuel lines cracked. You fixed things yourself because the nearest mechanic was 20 miles away and charged rates the farm could not afford. Trent's father taught him to diagnose problems systematically. Listen to the engine. Feel the vibration. Isolate variables. Test solutions. Trent was good at it. He had patience. He did not guess. He observed, hypothesized, tested. When the thresher jammed during harvest, other hands panicked. Trent climbed into the mechanism, traced the blockage, cleared it without damaging the blades. When the irrigation pump lost pressure, he mapped the entire line, found the leak 300 yards from the well, patched it with tar and canvas. His father called him the engineer. His older brother called him the thinker. It was not always a compliment. Farm work required muscle and endurance. Trent was thin, nearsighted, more comfortable with tools than livestock. He preferred the workshop to the fields. He read technical manuals the way other boys read adventure novels. In high school, Trent excelled in mathematics and physics. His teachers encouraged him to attend college. His father was skeptical, but supportive. In 1935, Trent enrolled at Iowa State University studying mechanical engineering. He paid tuition through work-study programs. He maintained a 3.6 grade point average. He joined no fraternities. He attended no dances. He spent weekends in the engineering lab sketching designs for more efficient plow blades and variable speed transmissions. His classmates thought he was odd. His professors thought he was promising. He was 2 semesters away from graduating when the radio broadcast interrupted regular programming on December 7, 1941. Japanese aircraft had attacked Pearl Harbor. The United States was at war. Trent did not hesitate. He walked to the nearest recruiting station the next morning. The line stretched around the block. He waited 4 hours. He filled out paperwork. He passed the physical. He requested assignment to the Army Air Corps. His eyesight was borderline. His coordination tested average, but his mechanical aptitude scored in the top 5 percentile. They sent him to flight school. Flight training began in January 1942 at an airfield in Texas where the wind never stopped and the instructors never smiled. The washout rate was 40%. Candidates failed for air sickness, for poor reflexes, for fear. Trent failed nothing. He approached flying the way he approached broken machinery. Systems to understand, variables to control, physics to master. His instructors noted his technical proficiency, but questioned his instincts. He flew by calculation, not by feel. He hesitated during combat simulations. He second-guessed maneuvers. One evaluation report called him mechanically sound, but tactically timid. Another questioned whether he had the aggression necessary for fighter operations. Trent did not argue. He knew what they saw. A thin farm boy with glasses who treated combat like a math problem. But he also knew something they did not. Aggression without understanding was just noise. Speed without precision was wasted energy. He watched other cadets wash out because they flew on instinct and adrenaline. They made bold moves that looked impressive and got them killed in scenarios where patience would have saved them. Trent survived every simulation. He never posted the fastest times. He never scored the most hits. But he never crashed. He never stalled. He never lost situational awareness. He graduated in the middle of his class with an assignment to F4F Wildcats and orders to report to San Diego for carrier qualification training. The Wildcat was not glamorous. It was short and stubby, with a narrow landing gear that made carrier landings treacherous. Pilots called it the flying beer barrel, but Trent loved it. The aircraft was honest. It did not pretend to be something it was not. It had limitations, but within those limitations it was predictable. The engine was a Pratt & Whitney R1830 radial producing 200 horsepower. The airframe could sustain damage that would destroy lighter fighters. The cockpit layout was logical. Everything had a purpose. Nothing was wasted. Trent spent hours studying the technical manual. He memorized performance charts. He learned the aircraft's envelope, its strengths, its weaknesses. He understood that the Wildcat could not outrun a zero. It could not outclimb a zero. But it could outdive a zero. It could absorb more punishment. And at certain speeds and configurations, it could turn inside a pétendant, zero's radius. Most pilots never explored that edge. Doctrine said, do not turn with zeros. So they did not turn. They followed the rules and died anyway when the rules did not account for their specific situation. Trent believed doctrine was a starting point, not a conclusion. Rules worked until they did not. The key was knowing which rules could bend and which would break you. He carried a small notebook. After every training flight he wrote observations, how the aircraft handled at different weights, how control response changed with speed, where the edges were. His squadron mates thought he was obsessive. His instructors thought he was overthinking. In May 1943, Trent shipped out to the Pacific. Guadalcanal in the summer of 1943 smells like rot and aviation fuel. The heat is physical. It presses down like a hand. The humidity turns uniforms into wet rags within minutes of stepping outside. Mosquitoes swarm in clouds. Malaria is not a risk, it is an inevitability. Every pilot takes quinine tablets that turn their skin yellow and their dreams strange. The airfield is a strip of crushed coral carved from jungle. When it rains, which is often, the field becomes a marsh. Aircraft sink to their wheel hubs. Ground crews work knee-deep in mud, patching bullet holes, replacing engines, scrubbing blood from cockpits. They do not talk about what they clean. They do not ask whose blood it was. Trent arrives with a replacement draft of 12 pilots. Within 2 weeks, 5 are dead. Within a month, 8 are gone, shot down, missing, crashed on landing, killed by disease. The squadron operates at 60% strength on good days. Pilots fly 2 missions per day, sometimes 3. The missions blur together. Escort bombers, patrol sea lanes, intercept raids. The Japanese are relentless. They attack at dawn and dusk. They strafe the airfield. They bomb supply ships. The fighting is constant and exhausting. There is no leave. There is no rotation. You fly until you die or until you complete your tour, whichever comes first. Most pilots do not complete their tours. Trent flies his first combat mission on May 28th. A routine patrol that becomes a desperate scramble when 6 Zeros bounce them from above. His wingman is killed in the first pass. Trent survives by diving, exactly as Doctrine teaches. He does not fire his guns. He does not engage. He runs and lives. The after-action debrief is short. The squadron commander asks if he got any hits. Trent says no. The commander nods. Smart. You are alive. That is what matters. But Trent does not feel smart. He feels like he ran. He flew away while his wingman burned. The logic is sound. 1 Wildcat cannot fight 6 Zeros. Staying would have meant 2 deaths instead of 1. But logic does not silence the image of his wingman's aircraft tumbling toward the ocean, trailing smoke and fire. He flies 20 more missions in June and July. He learns the rhythm of combat, the radio chatter, the adrenaline spike when bogeys are called, the sick drop in his stomach when tracers flash past his canopy. He learns to trust his gunner's instinct while keeping his engineer's mind active. He scores 2 confirmed kills using slashing hit and run attacks. He saves 3 squadron mates by drawing fire away from damaged aircraft. He develops a reputation as steady, reliable, and cautious. Other pilots respect him, but do not fear him. The Japanese do not know his name. He is competent. He is professional. He is ordinary. Then on August 14th, a Zero's 20mm cannon shell punches through his wing root and cracks a fuel line. Everything changes. The damage happens fast. Trent is flying number 3 in a 4-ship formation covering a supply convoy 50 miles north of Guadalcanal. The mission is milk run routine, low threat, easy hours. Then the radio crackles. Bandits high. 9 o'clock. Trent looks left and sees them. 8 Zeros diving out of a cloud bank at 12,000 feet. The formation splits. Trent breaks right with his wingman. Standard defensive maneuver. The Zeros follow. They are fast and coordinated. Trent's wingman calls taking fire. Trent reverses to help. A Zero cuts across his nose. Trent snaps a burst. Misses. The Zero rolls inverted and dives. Trent follows Doctrine. He does not chase. He pulls up, regains altitude, regroups. That is when he feels it. A shudder through the airframe. Not violent, just wrong, like a car with a bent wheel. He scans his instruments. Oil pressure, normal. Engine temperature, normal. Fuel gauge, dropping faster than it should. He cranes his neck, checks his port wing. There it is, a thin mist streaming from the wing root where it meets the fuselage. Not a catastrophic rupture, not a spray, just a steady leak vaporizing in the slipstream, leaving a silver trail behind him like a contrail at low altitude. His wingman radios, "You are streaming fuel," Trent confirms. He knows what this means. He has read the loss reports. Fuel leaks are Category A emergencies. Return to base immediately. Do not engage. Do not maneuver hard. Any spark can ignite the vapor. Any rough handling can worsen the crack. He turns toward home. His wingman escorts him. The rest of the formation continues the patrol. Trent flies straight and level, nursing the throttle, watching the fuel gauge tick down. He calculates range versus consumption. The math is bad. He is losing fuel faster than normal flight burns it. The leak is getting worse. At current rate, He will run dry 15 minutes before reaching base. He radios the problem. The response is immediate. Ditch procedures. Prepare for water landing. A destroyer will be vectored to his last known position. Trent acknowledges. He does not believe it. The ocean is vast. Radio direction finding is imprecise. Even if the destroyer finds the right area, finding one man in the water is nearly impossible. The survival window is measured in hours, not days. Sharks patrol these waters. The current is strong. Trent looks at his fuel gauge again. Then he looks up. Head. The sky is empty. Behind, visible in his mirror, 7 Zeros are closing. They have seen his trail. They know he is wounded. They are coming to finish it. His wingman radios a warning. Trent acknowledges. He makes a decision that will define everything that follows. He does not run. He turns toward the enemy. Trent's wingman does not understand. The radio crackles with confusion and alarm. Break off. Return to base. You are leaking fuel. Trent does not respond. He banks left, a slow, deliberate turn that points his nose directly at the approaching Zero formation. The fuel trail follows him, marking his path like breadcrumbs. His wingman repeats the call, more urgent now. Trent keys the mic. Stay high. Cover me from above. Do not follow me down. There is a pause. Then acknowledgement. The wingman climbs to 10,000 feet and circles. He will watch. He will not interfere. He thinks Trent is committing suicide. He is probably right. The Zeros see the turn. They see the fuel trail. They see an enemy fighter flying toward them instead of away. It confuses them for exactly 3 seconds. Then training takes over. They split into 2 sections. 4 break left, 3 break right. Classic pincer. They will bracket him, attack from multiple angles, give him nowhere to run. Trent counts them. He notes their spacing. He watches how they move. Coordinated, but not rigid. Aggressive, but not reckless. These are experienced pilots. They have done this before. They expect him to panic, to break, to die. Trent throttles back. He slows the Wildcat to 180 knots. The Zero sections close fast. They are doing 300 knots, maybe more. Closure rate over 400 miles per hour. Time to contact 18 seconds. Trent flies straight, level, predictable. The fuel trail streams behind him, a perfect marker. The first Zero section commits. They angle in from his left, staggered vertically. The lead aircraft drops slightly, setting up a high deflection shot. His wingman stays high, covering. Textbook tactics. Trent waits. At 800 yards, the lead Zero opens fire. Tracers arc through the air, lazy and bright. They pass beneath Trent's aircraft. Range is still too far. The Zero closes. 600 yards, 400, Trent holds course. His hand rests light on the stick. He is counting seconds in his head. 3, 2, 1. At 300 yards, Trent pulls. Hard left. Full deflection. The Wildcat snaps into a brutal turn. The G-forces slam him into his seat. His vision tunnels. The horizon spins. He holds the turn at the edge of a stall. The Wildcat shudders and groans. The control surfaces scream. Trent keeps pulling. The first Zero cannot follow. At 300 knots, its turning radius is too wide. The pilot tries to adjust, but physics does not negotiate. He flashes past Trent's tail, overshooting by 40 yards, his wingman following. Both Zeros are suddenly out of position. Ahead of Trent instead of behind. Trent rolls wings level. He has reversed the geometry. The hunters are now exposed. He fires. A 2-second burst. 50 caliber rounds walk across the second Zero's fuselage. Pieces fly off. Smoke pours from the cowling. The Zero rolls inverted and dives, trailing fire. Trent does not chase. He is already turning again. The second section is coming. 3 more Zeros diving from his right. He throttles back again, slows, waits. The fuel trail marks his position perfectly. They think they know where he will be. They are wrong. The second section learns from the first. They do not commit as hard. They spread wider, giving themselves room to maneuver. The lead Zero approaches from a high angle, forcing Trent to choose. Turn into him and expose himself to the others. Turn away and give him a clean shot. It is a good tactic. It should work. Trent does neither. He shoves the nose down, a sudden dive that drops him 500 feet in 4 seconds. The Zero's firing solution evaporates. He tries to follow, but Trent is already pulling out, bleeding speed, tightening his radius. The Zero overshoots. Trent snaps a burst as he passes, hits. The Zero's canopy shatters. The aircraft wobbles, rolls, recovers, damaged but flying. The other two Zeros adjust their attack. They come in flat, one from each side, a scissors maneuver designed to trap him between them. Whichever way Trent turns, one will have a shot. It is elegant and lethal. Trent has 2 seconds to decide. He does something insane. He throttles down to minimum controllable airspeed. The Wildcat slows to 140 knots, mushing through the air, barely flying. The Zeros close at 280 knots. They have 6 seconds to react. They do not have 6 seconds. At that speed differential, their momentum carries them through before they can adjust. Both Zeros flash past, one high, one low. Neither fires, neither can. The angles are wrong. They are too fast, too committed. Trent counts 5 Zeros still in the fight. 2 have disengaged, 1 damaged, 1 probably out of ammunition. His fuel gauge is red. He has maybe 8 minutes of flight time remaining. His wingman radios. More bogies inbound. Trent glances up. He sees them. 4 more Zeros, higher, circling. They are not engaging yet. They are watching, learning. Trent realizes what is happening. His fuel trail is visible for miles. Every Zero in the area is converging on it. He is a beacon, a trap waiting to be sprung, except the trap is not for him. It is for them. The 5 Zeros regroup. They circle at a distance, wary now. They have lost the initiative. They expected an easy kill. They found something else. Trent flies straight, heading east toward open ocean, away from base, away from help. The fuel trail follows him. The Zeros follow the trail. Trent's wingman calls again. You are heading the wrong direction. Fuel critical. Trent keys the mic. I know, trust me. The wingman does not respond. What can he say? His element leader is flying toward death, with 5 enemy fighters on his tail and 7 minutes of fuel remaining. There is no logic to it, no doctrine that explains it. Trent checks his altitude, 6,000 feet. He checks his heading, due east. He checks his airspeed, 160 knots. Everything is deliberate. Everything is calculated. The Zeros close again, more cautious this time. They have learned respect. But they are also running low on fuel. They cannot stay forever. They will commit soon. One final coordinated attack, all 5 at once. Trent is counting on it. Trent does the math one final time. Fuel remaining, 6 minutes at current consumption, including the leak. Distance to base, 48 miles. Airspeed, 160 knots. Time required, 18 minutes. The equation does not balance. He cannot make it home. He has known this for 10 minutes. His wingman knows it. The Zeros probably know it. The difference is that Trent planned for it. From the moment he turned toward the enemy instead of running, he accepted the outcome. He will not reach base. He will not ditch near friendly ships. He will run out of fuel over open ocean with no rescue possible. But before that happens, he will do something useful. The fuel trail is not a liability. It is the most perfect bait ever designed. Every Zero within 20 miles can see it. They follow it like a road. They think it leads to an easy kill. They are half right. It leads to a kill, just not the one they expect. Trent has been flying east for 8 minutes. He is now 70 miles from base, deep over empty ocean. His wingman has stayed high, watching, conserving fuel. The 5 Zeros have settled into a loose pursuit formation. They are patient now. They know Trent's fuel situation. They know he cannot run forever. They are waiting for the engine to quit. Then they will dive and strafe him as he glides down. Standard procedure for finishing damaged aircraft. What they do not know is that Trent has been timing their patterns. Every 90 seconds, they adjust position. The leader swaps. They rotate altitude. It is good discipline. It prevents fatigue. It maintains formation integrity, but it also makes them predictable. Trent knows that in 40 seconds, all 5 will be in a stacked line. A stern formation for approximately 8 seconds during the rotation. That is his window. He keys the mic, calls his wingman. When I break, hit them from above. High sight gun pass. 1 run, then get out. The wingman acknowledges. He does not ask questions. He trusts that Trent has a plan, even if that plan makes no sense. Trent counts down in his head. 30 seconds. He checks his fuel. The gauge reads empty, but the engine runs smooth. He is flying on vapor and residual fuel in the lines. 20 seconds. The Zeros begin their rotation. They tighten up. 10 seconds. Trent's hand tightens on the stick. 5 seconds. The Zeros are stacked perfectly, one behind another, a vertical line. Trent brakes hard right, full aileron, full rudder. The Wildcat snap rolls. The nose comes around violent and sudden. He is no longer flying away. He is flying at them, head on. Closure rate over 400 knots. The Zeros scatter. Instinct overrides discipline. They break in every direction. The formation disintegrates. Trent's wingman dives. He has altitude and speed. He comes down on the scattered Zeros like a hammer. He picks the nearest one, fires, hits. The Zero shudders. Smoke, fire, it noses over. The wingman does not stay to watch. He extends, climbs, runs, exactly as briefed. Trent is still turning, still closing. The Zeros are confused, disorganized. They expected a dying aircraft. They got an attack. 2 of them collide trying to avoid each other. Not hard, just wingtips. But at combat speed, it is enough. Both aircraft stagger, trailing debris. They break off, heading home. That leaves 2. Trent's engine coughs, once, twice. The fuel is gone. The propeller windmills, driven by airspeed alone. No power, no thrust. The Wildcat is now a glider. Trent has perhaps 90 seconds before he hits the water. The remaining 2 Zeros see it. They circle, watching him descend. They do not fire. There is no need. Gravity will finish what they started. Trent uses the descent to gain airspeed. He points the nose down, trading altitude for velocity. At 2,000 feet, he has 210 knots, faster than he has flown all engagement. The Zeros follow, cautious. Trent pulls back on the stick. The nose comes up. The Wildcat climbs, not much, maybe 400 feet, but enough to get 1 Zero to commit. It dives after him, trying to stay in position. Trent rolls inverted at the top of his zoom climb. He sees the Zero below him, perfectly positioned. He pulls through. His nose tracks. He has no engine, but he has gravity. He fires. The guns work fine without engine power. Hydraulic pressure, mechanical linkage. 50 caliber rounds pour down. The Zero tries to brake. Too late, too close. Hits stitch across the wing root. The Zero rolls hard, trailing fuel. It is damaged. Not destroyed, but damaged enough. It breaks off, heading northwest toward Japanese bases. The last Zero does not engage. It circles once, then follows its wingman. They have had enough. The wounded Wildcat with the leaking fuel tank has cost them 3 aircraft damaged or destroyed, 2 more lost in the collision. 7 Zeros attacked. 2 remain combat effective. The math is undeniable. This should not have happened. Trent glides down. At 500 feet, he jettisons his canopy. At 200 feet, he unbuckles his harness. At 50 feet, he pulls the nose up one final time. The Wildcat stalls, drops, hits the water flat. The impact is brutal. Trent is thrown forward. His head hits the gun sight. Blood fills his vision. Water rushes into the cockpit. He claws his way out, kicking, pulling. The aircraft sinks fast. He surfaces, gasping, bleeding, alive. His wingman circles above, marking his position. A destroyer is already en route, vectored by the wingman's radio calls. The rescue takes 3 hours. Trent floats in his life vest, watching the sky, thinking about fuel consumption rates and turning radius. When they pull him aboard, he is conscious, coherent. The first thing he asks is whether his wingman made it back. He did. Trent nods. Good. Then he passes out. The combat report is filed. Confirmed kills, 2. Probable, 2. Damaged, 3. Intel officers study it. They interview Trent, his wingman, ask detailed questions about the fuel trail tactic. Trent explains calmly. The leak made him visible. He used visibility as an advantage. He drew them in, disrupted their attacks, created opportunities. The officers listen. They do not officially endorse the tactic. You cannot teach pilots to fly with fuel leaks, but they do not prohibit it either. Word spreads through squadrons. The story grows. The pilot who turned a death sentence into a weapon. Trent returns to flight status 3 weeks later. He flies 40 more missions. He survives the war. The fuel leak tactic is never codified, but pilots remember, sometimes disadvantage is opportunity. Sometimes the trap is the bait.